Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into a pretty wild paradox. I mean, think about it. How did a fragile piece of paper from the 1930s actually become the absolute master key to your entire digital life? And more importantly, how are modern cybersecurity experts scrambling to build a brand new digital fortress around it? It's literally a story of analog bureaucracy smashing into modern cyber warfare, and it affects every single one of us.
So let's unpack this a bit. Why on earth are we forced to rely on a simple 9-digit number as our universal identity token today? This is a number designed over 80 years ago for one specific reason: to track worker earnings. That's it. Yet here we are in an era of relentless, super sophisticated cyber attacks, and the main gateway to our bank accounts, our healthcare, our credit is a system built way before the modern computer was even invented. It's the kind of thing that keeps security experts up at night for sure.
Section 1. The Accidental National ID.
Right. To actually understand our current vulnerabilities, we really have to look back at the incredibly chaotic analog origins of the Social Security number. When the Social Security Act passed back in 1935, the government faced this impossibly massive, frantic task. They had to register America. They needed to track the earnings of tens of millions of workers. But get this, they had almost no staff and zero infrastructure to pull it off. It was such a vast, hurried effort that they actually had to enlist 45,000 post office facilities and local letter carriers just to physically hand out the paper applications. It was a mad race against time before tax collection started in 1937.
And the scale of this operation? Absolutely staggering. We're talking 35 million original Social Security numbers issued in just the first 8 months. Just imagine the sheer logistics of that. Thousands of clerks banging away on manual typewriters, creating these huge physical ledgers, assigning blocks of numbers all across the country. They basically birthed a massive accounting system almost overnight. But here is the crucial takeaway, the thing you have to remember. This was absolutely positively never intended to be a national ID card. It was literally just a bookkeeping tool.
Section 2. Decoding the 9 digits. So what exactly do those 9 famous digits actually mean? Are they some complex, unbreakable code? Well, far from being high-tech cryptographic keys, we can actually deconstruct the SSN into 3 really simple administrative parts. Step 1 is the area number. Those first 3 digits were originally just tied to the geographic region or zip code where the card was issued. Then step 2 is the group number, which they just used to break the numbers into manageable chunks so the post office could easily file the paperwork. And finally, step 3 is the serial number, which is literally just a straight numerical series, 00001 to 9999. Seriously, there is zero built-in security here. It's just a filing system. And if you want proof of how fragile this system was right from the start, check out this shocking incident from 1938. A wallet manufacturer in New York thought, hey, it'd be clever to put a sample Social Security card inside our new wallets to show how perfectly it fits. The problem? He used his secretary's actual real Social Security number. These wallets hit the shelves at Woolworths and massive department stores across the entire country. And because the general public really didn't understand how the system worked yet, thousands of buyers just assumed the number sitting in their new wallet was now their personally assigned number. By 1943, an astounding 5,755 people were actively using this one poor secretary's number. It led to tens of thousands of totally botched tax reports.
Section 3. The Identity Theft Epidemic.
You know, that early 1930s mishap perfectly foreshadowed the massive crisis we're facing today. We're dealing with severe identifier creep in a really hostile digital landscape. Because the SSN was just so convenient and pretty much everyone had one, it slowly became universally required. Banks, hospitals, universities, your phone company, everybody wanted it. But as the Federal Trade Commission points out, that convenience came with a completely devastating cost. The SSN is now the ultimate, undisputed prize for modern identity thieves. Because look, if somebody knows your 9-digit routing code, they can often just impersonate you entirely. And that's why millions of Americans have their identities stolen every single year.
The contrast here is just dangerous. A system originally meant solely to establish a ledger of worker earnings completely ballooned out of control. Over the decades, thanks to disjointed mandates like a 1943 executive order pushing federal agencies to use it, it mutated into this unofficial, highly insecure national password. We basically took a static, unchangeable number printed on a flimsy piece of cardboard and tried to use it to secure complex, global digital transactions. It's wild when you really think about it.
Section 4.
the digital identity fix.
Okay, so how exactly do we fix an analog problem operating in a totally dystopian digital world? We obviously can't keep relying on a system that treats a visible number as some kind of secret passcode. Well, enter the National Institute of Standards and Technology, or NIST for short. They're the federal agency in charge of developing the strict minimum requirements for our information systems, and they are stepping up to solve this exact crisis by establishing robust digital identity guidelines. Their whole mission is to replace the blind, outdated trust of the 1930s with actual, hard cryptographic security. Their landmark document on this, Special Publication 863A, shifts the entire focus away from easily stolen paper tokens and leans heavily into applied computer security. The big, overarching goal of NIST's framework is foundational. They want to ensure the right people, and only the right people, get the exact right access to the right resources at the exact right time. It is a complete and total overhaul of how we prove who we are online.
Section 5. NIST's Identity Proofing Framework.
And that brings us to the core mechanism of NIST's new cyber defense strategy, a rigorous process known as identity proofing. You can't just hand over a 9-digit number anymore and say, hey, trust me. Instead, you have to provide verifiable evidence to a credential provider to definitively, absolutely prove you are who you claim to be. The goal isn't just to blindly accept a claim, it's to actively resolve that claimed identity down to one single, unique, real-life human being. The necessary evolution is finally happening, and it's a huge shift. We are moving completely away from that 1936 model, which was just an allegation-based paper application. Sure, over the years they added banknote paper and color-shifting ink to the physical cards, but at the end of the day, it was still just a piece of paper. NIST's guidelines replace all of that with hardcore technical validation. We're moving from physical security features to what NIST calls identity assurance levels, or IALs. What this means for you is that your actual digital footprint and cryptographic authenticators are validating your identity in real time, perfectly matching the security risk of whatever transaction you're trying to make. Section 6, the future of authentication.
So let's take a look at the modern tools that are finally kicking the old passive ways of verifying identity to the curb. How are we actually putting NIST's theories into practice out in the real world? Well, we are seeing the rapid rollout of automated cryptographic systems that actually do the heavy lifting for us. Take the E-Verify system, for example, which actively cross-references data between the Department of Homeland Security and the Social Security Administration. Then there's the consent-based SSN verification service for private companies and the Help America Vote verification system. But maybe most importantly, we're moving towards syncable authenticators that tie into continuous lifecycle management. These modern systems don't just blindly trust a printed card. They are actively and electronically matching records behind the scenes in a true zero-trust environment. As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with a final, provocative thought. As our modern digital lives increasingly demand airtight, zero-trust cybersecurity, and as these brilliant, robust systems from NIST become the new gold standard, is it finally time we leave this fragile, 90-year-old paper relic exactly where it belongs? In the past. Thank you so much for exploring this fascinating journey of digital identity with me. Stay curious and stay secure.